Hello. Welcome to Get Your Mind Right. I am Marcella Hammer. I'm the resident unicorn and COO of Palette. Most importantly, I'm a human being just like all of you, and it's pretty hard to be us, humans, on planet Earth right now. There are so many different challenges that we're going through, and it's hard to keep our mental health in check or our physical health and like everything in between. So, this program is all about that, how to put yourself first. I'm so excited that my guest today is Karen Carey. She is a badass business coach and she has a master class coming up. She is absolutely brilliant. And Karen, I'm so excited to get some wisdom and knowledge from you as always today. Welcome.
Thank you. It's so great to be here. Yay.
Oh my gosh.
That was quite the intro.
It's like I've done this before or something. I'm getting better at it. Call me, call me, call me crazy, I guess. Um, I'm so lucky because I've gotten to know you so well over the past few years. And I feel like I have the inside track as to the work that you do with entrepreneurs and, other business folks. And I would love if you could explain to anyone watching now how do you work with entrepreneurs and business folk, us business folk?
I love the name of the show. Get
Thank
your
you.
mind right. So, as we all know, being in business means having our mind right, being able to step outside our comfort zone, do the things that feel like crap, take one step at a time, and feel the anguish and the perfection and the misperfection and the mistakes and just keep doing it and growing as a human being and as an entrepreneur. Relationships, everything, like it's all in here. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do, but it's literally all is right here inside your heart. And so that's what I help people do, is to get connected to themselves and make good choices, learn to say no, learn to say yes, follow the path that is most suited to them, and allow themselves to actually, be suited for something, if that makes sense, you
It
know?
really does. And,
Yeah.
I think that with a lot of entrepreneurs and probably human beings in general, because you're creating something, it seems like there's so much happening that's external to
Yeah.
oneself with
Yeah.
business. But, that's something that you've really taught me and that it seems like is a big part of like who you are and what you teach is that now it's like right up in there inside.
What's my favorite saying? What you think is coming at you is really coming from you. And it's
That's
not
true.
always easy. It's not always easy to hear that. It's not always easy to see it and feel it, but it's sadly the truth.
Or
I'm not talking about
happily.
I'm not
What the
talking about
heck?
children. I'm not talking about children. I'm talking about us as adults,
Oh,
so
yeah.
people get confused by that when I say that. How does that help anybody? So I'm like, it helps a lot. Yeah.
It definitely does. Um, so you deal with a lot of entrepreneurs and people running their businesses, people who are a part of the running and day to day of organizations. What do you think is the biggest need that people have right now? Do you see something kind of across all industries and all humans? Tell me what you think, Karen.
The first thing that comes to me, and it's probably not the right word, but tolerance, openness. There's this whole way in which we're experiencing life now. And as you know, I work with archetypes. And if you've got I'm not knocking anybody, we're just going to talk about the shadow sides of some of the archetypes. So, if
Oh,
say I'm an,
before you talk
yeah,
about the shadow sides, can you
yeah,
just, if someone is watching and doesn't know what that
doesn't know what
means,
an
can you
archetype
explain?
is.
Yeah, what's an archetype?
Okay. So an archetype is kind of the lens through which we see the world. Like if you think of a hero, what do you think of? You think of a fireman or a policeman or somebody who lifts up a
Oprah.
car. And so, what
I
is
think
it?
of Oprah. I think of
Yeah,
Oprah.
Oprah, right? Right?
Yeah.
People that are willing to to do the hard things to make a difference in the world, um, and often at their own cost. So it's a universal language that we all understand, no matter what language you speak, what nationality you are, it doesn't matter. So that's what archetypes are. And yeah, so now I forgot where I was.
Oh, and then you were going to
Oh,
speak
right.
to the shadow side
Right.
of an archetype.
So let's say I'm an innocent, and an innocent has this way of looking at life, which is super positive, and everything is going to work out. And then let's say you've got a ruler who's like, God, we need rulers because that's how we stay functioning in this world, right? And that's how cars don't fall apart. And, it's like there's a need for rulers. However, sometimes it could be like, really angry because you're not seeing it how I do, or I could get hurt because you're not seeing it like I do. And it seems like there's this whole division in the world, number one, right? And then number two, like, how does that impact your business? Most of us, a lot of us now are working from home, and there's this isolation factor. So, which can drive our shadow sides up more sometimes. And that I think we need to give ourselves permission, no matter whether you're a CEO, president of the company, you're a solopreneur, it doesn't matter. Permission to like slow down a little bit. Permission to like be in this world the way it is and not try to fix it every 15 seconds. And
That's
what were you going
hard.
to say? Yeah.
I was going to say I have an immediate aversion to being
Yeah.
told to slow down.
Yeah, of course.
It
And
goes against so much of the survival instinct, I think, of an entrepreneur or a person that's like hustling.
yeah, believe me, I am a workaholic, always have been. I love working. And I've had to learn this. Like, it is detrimental to our health because oftentimes, if we're doing too much, the truth is we're probably trying to force something to happen.
But don't we have to? Don't we have to
No,
force it to happen? No.
we don't. We don't have to force anything. What we have to do is step into the space of all things are possible. Oh, I need to take a 15-minute nap right now. Okay, let me go take that 15. Or I'm feeling really frustrated. I better go take a walk before that big meeting I have. Or like if we're always running and running and running, we become, I call it a talking head. That's all we are. We're just like, okay, I'm just gonna talk, and I'm just gonna keep running and pushing and striving. Striving. The definition of striving is like something painful. Striving isn't a place to go to. Like, to give ourselves the space, like, and I don't know how people feel about spirituality, but for me, like, I know the universe has my back. The universe is conspiring for our good, not against us, but for us. And sometimes it looks really messy and shitty, and it feels broken, and ugh. And it's not really. I mean, one of the things I say, and I usually save it for my programs, but you can't be behind in your own life. You cannot, like, if everybody could just get this, and that you can't be behind in your day, you can't be behind in your life, like, stop. If you think that speeding up is going to make things go faster, it's not true. I 100%, I guarantee that.
Oh yeah, that's not how time works.
That's not how it works. That's
Sadly,
right.
sometimes, but that's not how it works. And just speaking from my own experience, taking that time to take a 10-minute walk before a difficult conversation or a meeting is so much more helpful than just like blasting forward and trying to get off one last email to someone completely unrelated to this difficult thing you're about to do than anything. And
Yeah.
for me, just taking time to make sure I know how to focus myself. So
Yeah.
even before this conversation, I took 10 minutes
Yep.
and I wrote down some definite questions that I have
Yep.
and gave myself the space to just get in a mindset where I can even talk about these hard things, because this is
Yep.
not easy. I mean, we make
Exactly.
it look easy, you and I,
Yeah.
but it's hard.
Yeah. Oh no. This is um when I had jobs, they had their complications, right?
When
And
I had jobs.
I haven't had that many, right? Because I've always sort of been an entrepreneur. But it's never been that easy for me. Like, how do you shut your mind down a little bit? Like you said, how do you get your mind right? Like, I meditate a couple times a day. I'm starting to do, one of the teachers I study sometimes, he's talking about this 4 by 20 thing. 4 times a day, take 20 minutes. David Bear. That is amazing, right? And don't take 20 minutes to, look at your phone. you
Wait,
know,
you mean Instagram scrolling doesn't
yeah,
count?
exactly. Like in some
Rats.
ways, and some of that is like breaking our ability to function really well, like to be in the moment anymore. Now, I'm not knocking, once again, like we have to do it, right? It's part of our job as entrepreneurs, is for most of us to be in social media somehow. However, um, at 9 o'clock before you go to bed, or at 11 o'clock before you go to bed, probably not so great. Um, give yourself a cutout off time. Um, I've found for myself and my clients having a morning routine, it doesn't have to be, like, oh my God, I have to get up and do exactly. For me, I'm flexible. I usually get up, do a meditation first, then I do a 10-minute workout, then I do something else, whatever it happens to be that day. Sometimes it's a breathing exercise, sometimes it's whatever. Sometimes I'll meditate a little longer, exercise a little longer, but it doesn't really matter. It's those two things I'm committed to every morning, which is at a minimum of a 10-minute meditation. And there are days when it's only 1 minute because of, schedules or, going somewhere or, and then my 10-minute workout. And all those things are free. Like there's free apps for meditation. There's free exercise workout 10-minute workouts everywhere. There's At the end of the night, I do yoga. And you know what? I do it in front of the TV sometimes. I lay on the floor and do my stretches and do my yoga poses, and that starts to calm me down. And if I want to do more after that, then I do that. But the thing is, like, you have to know what works for you. I have a friend that if she doesn't take her walks, man, she's impossible. And it builds over a couple of days. It only takes a
Yeah.
couple of days, right? And she feels it. She's like, I have to have a walk. I have to. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's different what they need, and to be able to even honor that part. So, am I way off track on your question?
No, it makes perfect sense to me, because what I hear you saying is that it sounds like it's important for people to recognize their individuality and to set up routines that make them feel good about
Yeah,
themselves. And it doesn't have to be a 3 hour long thing. It can be a shorter commitment to oneself. And then there's not a right or wrong way to do it. I think about how I attend to my needs. And for me, I like to meditate at night. And that's like
yeah,
my evening meditation time is
yep,
really important to me.
yep,
But oh, definitely. I will take 5 minutes during the day and just like sit in my car like a creep if I need to. And just take a moment to connect to that part of myself and how I
yep,
feel when I'm meditating. And that's
yeah.
not for everyone. Some people
Mm.
take walks, some people do burpees or something, or like jumping jacks. God bless
Oh
your
yeah, yeah,
knees,
yeah, yeah,
all of
yeah,
you
yeah,
people who do those things. I
yeah.
wish.
Yep, yep.
But the only right thing is to know yourself. Is that
Exactly.
right? We're on
That's right.
we're on the page.
I mean, that's the whole thing with me, is to know yourself. right? Because we don't know, if we don't know ourselves, like, what are we going to be doing all day? What are we going to do? Make ourselves
But
wrong.
we're gonna give things to other people that we don't give to ourselves because we
Ooh,
don't
good
count
point.
ourselves as
Ooh,
someone
good
who
point.
has needs because we're busy building and giving and growing. Oh,
Yeah.
was that me that said that out loud?
Oh, no, 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 not you. Let's just call it, let's call it what it is. It's like
Yeah.
there's a lot of codependence that goes on in the world. There's a lot of, especially for heroes, because it's not your fault if you're a hero, but like you want to get shit done. It's hard to slow down. You want to rescue people. You want to make a huge difference in the world. You want to be seen in some ways. You want to be heard. Like we all want that. But there's like the hero. It's like it's so hard to pull back to the point of illness, you know, falling down and breaking your knee or, whatever people do. People do these things, right? Because they just
Yes.
can't take
I
a
am
minute.
I am I am people. I have
Yeah.
done these things.
For me, it ends up being illness of some sort. If I let myself get too stressed or, too out of my mind, then that's what happens for me. So, keeping our minds right and giving ourselves permission to be ourselves. And I feel like that's a journey also to get to know yourself. Like that's, as I said, that's a lot of the work that I do. And then the strategies after that, or the pathway after that, comes after that. You can't get anywhere if you don't get your mind right.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is a really good transition kind of into my next question, which is how do you find the right path for
Yeah,
yourself? How
yeah,
if we're sitting here and you've never met me before, but I'm needing help. I need to do
yeah,
this something to feel better.
yeah, yeah.
Where do you start?
The first place to start is knowing where you're at. Like once again, we can try and push and force and study 59 different classes, and this has got to be the answer, and this has got to be the answer, and work with this person and that person and this person and that person, and keep trying to call in the thing. And that's great, right? These are things that help us. I encourage people to take assessments and do their thing and get out there and do the research and study different people and all that. However, the true path comes with us. It never goes anywhere. Like, let me just share about myself, right? So I was hit by a car when I was 14, and the nurses used to come in and tell me about their life and ask my advice. Now, I'm not kidding. I'm laying in the bed with broken bones and, on IVs. I mean, after I got out of my, really critical life or death. And they would be like, I'm 14. I'm like, I'm 14 years old. And they're like, what should I do? And I was like, well, I think this is what I'm thinking. And, you might want to think about this. And this is what you should do if it were me. But your life shows you who you are if you allow yourself to sort of experience the gifts that you've been shown in your lifetime. Like my husband is like super smart, super explorer, traveled all over the world, but he was so dedicated to being better, not better than others, but being the best at what he did that he could possibly do, that he kept getting opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And then each opportunity opened another door. Right. So I feel like we have to go, like the archetype survey that I use in my clients and my group programs. That's for me a great place to start. If you can't do that, just get to know yourself in other ways. There are lots of ways to get to know yourself. Sit down, Take a breath and think about the stories of your life and the meaning that they've had for you and the kind of the run through, the thread through, right? And then the path kind of comes from there. Like, what's your heart want to do? Like I have some clients that are really like, working really hard and trying to do it right and doing, and that's not really what they want to do. They're doing it for the money. And I get we have to make a living. I'm not diminishing that. I have to make a living and I've done it all this time. But sometimes there's actually a path that's already been started. And it's just trusting enough to keep going. Don't quit your day job right away. I'm not one of those people like, oh yeah, just give it up and 5 minutes later you'll be no, it doesn't work
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
easy. It's fine. You'll
Yeah,
be fine.
yeah. It's not easy.
It's not easy.
But it's worth it.
I think you're amazing. Uh, it's so hard to know ourselves,
Yeah.
though. I
Yep.
really think that it is. It's such a
Yep.
challenge.
Yep.
And, something that I always come back to in conversations with you and in conversations with like basically everyone is, there is no right way. There's just the way.
Yeah.
There's no like catching up with your life. Like you said, we're in the
Yep.
moment that we're in.
Mhm.
And no one else is going to take care of you.
Yeah.
You got to take care of
Yep.
yourself. And that's really
Yep.
like the biggest focus that I have for these conversations with Get Your Mind Right is how do we learn to put ourselves first? And so that's my question for you is like, what is your best advice for someone who is on that path and learning to put themselves first?
Yeah, it's a really great question. First off, it takes small steps, right? Don't expect yourself to just immediately be like, okay, I'm going to change everything right now because it won't happen.
Yeah, it's not
That's
a
too
pain
much.
pill. I mean, that I know. You can't just like
Right.
take some, it's not going to just go
Right.
away. Like poof.
It's a process. And the thing is the thoughts that we have and the beliefs that we have, they're there and they're going to crop up now and again. So the tricky part in my experience is to just pick one thing to change. Whether it's I'm going to get up every morning and I'm going to sit on the side of my bed and I'm going to do a 1 minute meditation, which is me just closing my eyes and saying to myself, I love and accept myself. I love and accept myself. I love and for 1 minute. Or, I'm going to focus on my knees or my feet and just kind of be in my body. I mean, one of the things that's really worked for me over these years is body scanning. I didn't used to be able to sleep. I had some experiences and I kind of didn't sleep at all. And then it got worse and I literally wasn't sleeping at all. And I started body scanning. I would just get up at night and I would just start at my feet and I'd work my way up. And sometimes I'd be
So
present, sometimes I wouldn't. Yeah.
explain what a body scan is.
All right. So I'm getting a little wired up. Can you see? I have a lot of passion, baby. So, and a lot of things to say. So, body scan, this is the simplest version. You just start at your toes and focus on your toes and close your eyes, feel the energy, then the bottom of your feet and the tops of your feet, your ankles, go up through your legs to your knees and then your thighs and then up to your belly and your chest and your arms and your neck and your face and your head. And you would be shocked at what that can do for you. And if you want to start at the top and work your way down, you can do that too. You can do it really quick or you can take hours to do it.
I think body scans are so interesting because
Yeah.
I genuinely believe it's something that we intuitively know how to do as human beings, and
Yeah.
that we figure out how to do it as a soothing mechanism
Yeah.
always at some point in our lives.
Yeah.
And like calling it a body scan is a little intimidating, maybe. I don't know. It changes something. But for me, it was similar to you. I had a lot of difficulty sleeping when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
And I started doing these body scans without realizing what I was even doing. But it was
Nice.
just about my feet exist, my toes exist, my feet exist, my ankles
Mm.
exist, like, and
Yeah.
feeling just having an awareness of the existence of your own human body. And when there's so much swirling around in the world around us with current events and politics and families and global pandemics and business and life and all of these other things, that's why I love that we're talking about even the simple awareness of you have a human body on planet Earth and it's alive, not dead right now. I'm kind of blunt. I'm blunt. You know that.
No, I love it. And what it does is it brings us out of our head and into our body. Like, I know you know this. I'm a broken record about this as well. Like, we are all jumping out of our bodies all the time. And I don't know where we're going. We just don't want to be here. So then, we get sort of like this, talking head. And then, we say things that we don't mean. We get hurt by things. We make ourselves wrong and bad. And when we take that time to just kind of settle into our actual body and take a breath, and it doesn't take long, it's like, oh, wow, there's really nothing wrong. I'm just right here, right now. Nothing's, I don't have to worry about my masterclass right this second. I don't have to worry about, if I'm saying anything wrong on this program right now, or, if I'm getting it right, or there's none of that. It's like practicing showing up, just being yourself in every minute, which is why we can't be behind. If we could have done it better before, we would have. If we didn't make that mistake that cost this, or this happened to us, or that relationship, or whatever, like you started out with, we're human beings doing human things, and humans aren't bad or wrong. We're just doing our best, everyone, believe it or not, in every minute.
Yeah, we're just little creatures scampering around the planet with our clothes on, usually. Yeah. I'm glad that you brought up your masterclass that is coming up. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the masterclass is called Love Your Life. And it is just some tools and techniques about what it takes to actually feel more fulfilled in your life, like not feel so stuck or broken. Learn how to actually find the bits and pieces of joy that can really help us. We all know about gratitude practice, and it's a huge thing. I mean, it's actually scientific research studied, for those who only want the rules and,
the nerds,
the science.
The nerds say that it's real. It's real.
It's real. It's real. Yes. And so, yeah, the class is just going to be some tools to really help you to love your life. I will give all I got. Will I offer a program at the end? In case you're wondering, yes, I will. Am I a high-pressured salesperson? Absolutely not. Never have been, never will be. I want what's best for you. And if people are ready to take the next step, then I would offer that program as well, which is Be Bold, Be Brave, Be You. That's coming up on March 3rd, the next week. So just food for thought. My website is Ruby, R-U-B-Y, Red, R-E-D, Road, ROAD.com. And if you look under services and group programs, you can get to just go down and learn more, and you'll get to the Be Bold, Be Brave, Be You program. But the masterclass, maybe I can put the link in here afterwards if there's a space for it.
Yeah, you can do that. Okay. I can do that.
Okay. You can do that? Okay, great. Yes. And obviously that's free. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think you're amazing. I just put your website into the chat also, and that should go to everyone. Shout out to Laura Syracuse. It is really hard, Laura. We are just doing our best though. And I think the most important thing is just to show up for ourselves. And thank you, Karen, for being here for this conversation with me.
Okay. So Marcella, yes. I think you're awesome. Everyone knows you're awesome. So you are a special human being. I'm grateful to be able to be here with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Yeah,
for that lovely compliment. I'm going
yeah,
to
it's
take that
true.
forth into my day.
Please do.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Karen. And thank you to everybody who took a few minutes out of your day to watch this and now go do something for yourselves.